NASCAR Busch Series action on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as we bring you the Samstown 300 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The flat Las Vegas Motor Speedway, of course, before the reconfiguration of the 2006 season. Here on KRC, we're glad to bring it to you live. I'm Keegan Schneider. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we do these full race live streams of the realistic broadcasts every single day, as well as other related NASCAR content. We've got Homestead Miami Speedway coming up this week for the Cup Series. Some predictions, post-race analysis videos will be out for this weekend, as well as once again this week for the Cup Series race, we'll be live streaming my realistic broadcast throughout the course of the race. Also, Homestead coming up this weekend will run the NASCAR Thunder 2004 series finale, season finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway before that actual Homestead race starts. So that'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for those of you tuning in here early on. We're about to get this race underway. Once again, the Samstown 300. Racing as our driver, Kevin Harvick. Of course, you guys were able to vote for me using Kevin Harvick for this season. Qualified 4th place, 5th on lap 1. Stepped up the time a little bit on lap 2. A little hiccup off turn 4. Probably cost me a chance at the pole. But we'll see here for this one who might have a shot to win. We've had 2 different winners in the first 2 races of the season so far. Kenny Wallace won at Daytona, and Kevin Harvick, by a narrow margin, was able to get the win at Rockingham last weekend. So here we go on a Friday night. Green flag is about to wave here today for the Samstown 300 at Las Vegas. Green flag is in the air. 200 laps, 300 miles around this racetrack. And boy, Harvick sliding the tires on the restart. Already bad that he's on the outside for the initial start of this one. Boy, he's about ready to get crowded, and a little contact off turn 2 as they were already 3 wide on the initial start. Harvick on the apron slides into the 152 car now, and he goes wide and loses about a half a dozen spots on lap 1. Harvick just trying to find a feel for this race car early on. Lap 1, though, is already in the books. A race in which we had 5 cautions last week at Rockingham. What will this race bring? 100 miles longer of a race. Harvick very tight in traffic right now, something he did not have to deal with in both practice and qualifying. David Green going for the race lead early on. Underneath the 27 car, Harvick follows David Green to second place. And at the line, Green is going to get 5 bonus points. Harvick looks to the inside for the lead down the front stretch. An adjustment change from practice to qualifying for Harvick probably helped him a little bit, not only with the handling of his car, but also made it a little faster. And Harvick going to take the lead off turn 2 away from Green. And David Green barely keeps it off the wall as he goes wide off turn 2. Again, a very flat Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And again, a little bit different configuration. Still a 1.5 mile racetrack. A lot wider with this configuration compared to what we're actually used to. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Harvick going to lead his first lap of the race down to the apron through the tri-oval. Going to have to be careful doing that. And the 27 car right back to second place. So 3 different leaders in the first 3 laps of the race, all of which started inside the top 4. Justin Suzio, welcome to the stream. Nobody able to break away early on. Harvick goes a little wide off turn 4. 27 closes in a little bit more, but Harvick, the only driver to lead 2 laps in this race out of the first 4. With this being a lot flatter of a racetrack than what we're used to now, pretty much it's a single lane groove. Only the inside is going to really have the preferred line. Rangers or Bruins? I haven't watched much hockey this season, mainly because my Red Wings stink. But they're playing a little bit better this year than what they have, but they're not the greatest. They're a lot better than the Pistons right now. I'll tell you that much. Harvick's out of shape into turn 1, trying to hang on to his race car as the 27 gets to his outside. Harvick holds clear, but now as he slides up, here comes David Green on the bottom of the 27. Trying to get the lead for himself. David Green drives it in really deep. Had those left side tires on the apron. It hooks the inside of the racetrack. And Harvick blocks him at the start-finish line as he tries to hold on to the lead again. Patrick Shadley, welcome to the stream. Harvick went way too wide. Turns 1 and 2. They're 3 wide for the lead on lap 7. Harvick trying to get whatever sort of a run on the outside he can. Very flat corners, it's going to be a lot harder to do that, but he hangs on to it. How do those guys not make contact on this flat of a track going 3 wide? And Harvick still hanging on to the outside. He's not letting the 27 take the lead at the line. Harvick leads another lap. Heck of a battle early on. Oh boy, Harvick is doing one heck of a job on the outside right now. This is an amazing battle for the lead. Oh, and he scrapes the wall a little bit. Barely lifted. But that's just enough to cost him a chance at the lead again. And now David Green starts to slide up the track. He's on the inside of Harvick. Harvick, oh, barely kept it off the wall. Green goes around after the contact is made. And I think the 27 car had the lead at the time of the caution. Harvick kept it off the wall, but David Green was sliding up, slid into the left rear of Harvick. Green loses control of his car, and the caution will wait for the first time tonight. I would assume everybody's going to stay out. A wild start to this race. Okay, never mind. It looks like everybody pitted except for the race leader, Kevin Harvick. So Harvick will regain the lead on the restart. And the green flag's back in the air. Ooh, Harvick did not take off on that restart. That's going to stack everybody up. What a save by David Green, though, after getting sideways. He didn't hit anything outside of Harvick's left rear, which caused the initial spin. And the 27's going to get to the inside of Harvick. Those a little bit fresher tires. Harvick trying to drag race him down the backstretch. Harvick's just trying to hang on to his car into turn 3. And barely clear. Boy, he was committed that time. Harvick down to the apron in the tri-oval. Again, very risky to run there in this game, but what a move by Harvick to get back to the inside of the 27 into turn 1. Double wide, a couple rows back, including that battle for third going on right now. David Green back to the outside. Now, yes, Harvick's on older tires, but they only ran 9 laps of green flag racing before that caution, so these guys don't have much fresher tires. That's why Harvick elected to stay out. Those tires will even out at least after about 20 laps into the run, but Harvick's trying to hold on for dear life right now. See some great racing in the Busch Series in the first 2 races this year. Will we see more of the same here today at Vegas? A couple mile and a halves in a row. So we go to Atlanta after this before going to our first second short track of the year if you want to include Rockingham as a short track. It's listed as an intermediate because it's barely over 1 mile in length, but it races like a short track. We go to Bristol anyway for the 5th race of the year. Big slide for Harvick into turns 1 and 2. Didn't look that drastic, but he definitely pushed a little tight. Despite having the clean air. I don't know what it is with the Busch Series. We saw it at Rockingham. We're seeing it early here at Vegas. You just cannot pull away in the races that we have seen so far. And obviously Daytona, there's a huge reason why you can't really pull away because of the draft there. But even these tracks like Rockingham and Vegas where the draft doesn't come into play like it does at Daytona, or some of the longer intermediates like Michigan or California. It's just been very, very tight racing. Somebody has blown an engine and is on pit road as we speak, but we do stay green. Yeah, Harvick gave up a lot of bottom. Plenty of room being given to him there by that generated rookie driver on the inside who is trying to battle for the lead, and he'll take it away in 3 and 4. Harvick with a little side draft on that right rear. Very close quarters racing for the lead again. What a run by Harvick, trying to crowd him at the line. Harvick's not going to lead the lap. Oh, and a little contact. Harvick was getting very aggressive, trying to stay on that right rear. Allowed them to make contact. Blue Castleberry is the race leader. Legend of NASCAR 05 of the fantasy drivers. Virtue of Winval's career mode. And Harvick takes the lead away from Castleberry again. Blue Castleberry's had a very tough start to this season, but a good run early on, at least today at Vegas. Look at the run on the outside, though. Goes Castleberry into turn 1. Harvick's got the advantage to the bottom. They make contact up the racetrack. The 27 is coming now. Blocked off by Harvick down the back straightaway. Castleberry's still on the outside for second right now. And Harvick's about to lose the lead again, it looks like, unless he can hold on the outside. We saw him hold on the outside earlier and just about did it a second time through. Thought Castleberry was going to take it 3 wide off the exit of 4 there for a second. It's going to get tight into turn 1. Harvick slides a little bit too wide. Look at him staying in it, though. Harvick's been actually halfway decent on that outer groove today. Couldn't quite clear the 27 back down to the bottom again, and they're 3 wide. That's probably why he couldn't clear him. What a move by Castleberry. A 3 wide pass for the lead. Harvick's in the wall on turn 4. Contact with the 27 of Johnny Sauter. Castleberry hangs on to the lead. Similar instance off turn 4 with David Green earlier in the race where Harvick was just kind of getting crowded, though that time they were 3 wide in the center of the corner, which counted on Harvick getting crowded into the wall there by Johnny Sauter still to his inside. Harvick's going to try to run back down on Castleberry. Legend, yes indeed, Ravish. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Castleberry leading his first laps of the season. The young rookie-generated driver. Look at Harvick with a charge down the back straightaway and just rushes to the inside. Gonna clear Castleberry in one fell swoop. Oh, he got a little tight. And down. Harvick taking that shortcut on the apron. Now he slides back up the track again. Harvick's getting a little tight in these corners as this run wears on. Castleberry back down to the bottom. Harvick loose. Oh, a little contact. Now he got hooked on Castleberry. Somehow they both keep it straight. We stay green. Harvick again, looking all the way to the inside, trying to cross over to the start-finish line. I believe Castleberry led the lap. That's a risky move by Harvick. I don't know why you can't hold the apron in this game, even in the tri-oval. Especially with this flat racetrack, too, with the old Las Vegas. Ooh, Castleberry with a very aggressive block that time. Harvick had a run that Blue Castleberry could not block that time into 1 and 2, and again Harvick slides. That time it looked like he was more loose than tight. He's still a little loose. Pulls clear. Castleberry's in the wall off turn 2. Harvick pulls away a couple car lengths down into turn 3. A lot better arc in the corner, though, by Castleberry in second. These guys are going back and forth early on, and Johnny Sauter and the rest of the field might end up getting back into this one eventually. Just amazing how much it wants to throw that car sideways. Right, left, doesn't matter. It's EA Sports. It's weird, though, because with NASCAR Thunder, you can hold the apron at least on the straightaways, but when they made that transition from 04 to 05, it's a huge difference in running the apron. Like, you can't even be on the apron on the back straightaway, which is dumb. Or, like, through the tri-oval, which is also kind of dumb, but whatever. Yeah, these top two are still kind of checked out. What a fight, what a battle early on. A lot wider in turns 3 and 4, especially on the exit of the corner. Got the tri-oval to work with. Again here. Yeah. At least NASCAR Heat wasn't like that. Well, no, there was one NASCAR Heat game that was like that. Was it Evolution or was it Heat 2 where you couldn't drive on the apron? It was like very similar to this game in particular. Like even in the tri-ovals it did the same thing. I want to say it was probably Heat Evolution knowing that game, but it might have been Heat 2. Castleberry looks low. Harvick barely clear. That was another close call. Remember, these guys pitted 10 laps before, I should say 10 laps into the race during that first caution. So Harvick will have to pit a little bit before the rest of the field. Third on back, slowly catching up to Harvick and Castleberry with them battling. No surprise. Surprised they haven't caught him quicker, to be quite honest. These two are going at it for the race lead. Castleberry taking the high line, but I don't think he was actually going to do that. XX Games, welcome to the stream. Harvick way too wide in 3 and 4. I mean, he basically just gave Castleberry the position on the inside. Well, no, never mind. A little contact. Harvick holds on to the lead. Castleberry almost got in the wall. After that contact, he got so out of shape in the tri-oval. So hard for me to keep this car straight. Not as bad as what it was at Rockingham, though it might look like it at times. I feel bad when I make contact with these guys because I don't mean to do it 9 times out of 10. And with this game, the AI slows up so much after the contact that you kind of pull away a little bit, and I hate that it ends the battle immediately. Again, Harvick still got slightly older tires. They're pretty well evened out by now. And that doesn't mean we're not going to have another battle for the lead here eventually. Yeah, I don't listen to rap, so I wouldn't know what that song is. I should say I generally don't listen to rap. There's some older stuff I listen to. On very rare occasion. And usually it's like somebody else listening to it that I'll pick up on. I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then it'll be my playlist for a couple days kind of thing. Man, Harvick was really loose into 1 and 2. His car was getting tighter and tighter as the run was wearing on. Now it has gotten to the loose stages as we're over halfway through this tire run. Remember, there is a limit to how many sets of tires we can use. 4 sets in these Busch and Truck Series races. It's definitely a lot different now than when Vanilla Ice was rapping, yes. I don't even know if you would call that rap compared to, like, what rap is now. Like, it's, like, nowhere close to the same. I mean, I could be wrong. There probably is some stuff out there still that's kind of like that. But I guess, like, that late 80s and early 90s rap, yeah, that's, like... That's almost more like hip-hop. That's not even... It doesn't even seem like rap nowadays. Well, Castleberry's closing back in on Harvick. We've seen Harvick get a little looser as this run is carried on. Johnny Sauter is closing that gap once again as well in 3rd place. He's just kind of followed Castleberry to the back bumper of Harvick and got a 3-car battle for the lead with the same 3 cars that have pretty much been out front for most of the day. 4 different leaders already in the first 40 laps. Harvick has led the most so far, but not by much. Yeah, he did. I forgot about yeah, because he was a country guy, wasn't he? Jeff Jarrett. That's a tongue twister. That was when I was younger. I could never, like, for whatever reason, it wouldn't click in my brain. Double J-E, yeah, double J-E, double R-E, double T. Jeff Jarrett. Oh, wow. It's amazing how much side draft these cars have. Oh, we got a new leader. His name is Matt Kenseth. It was not Johnny Sauter. Kenseth takes his first lead of the race. And again, with no green flag stops, 5 different leaders. All by just simply driving themselves up to the front and passing the race leader. Dale Jr. has been very, very fast in the first 2 races, both in the Busch and Cup Series, so I look for him to maybe get up here before the end of this thing as well. Oh, Kenseth got the wall off turn 4, and that gave Castleberry 2nd position right back. So a little wide goes Kenseth. Kenseth, though, tries to get the run into turn 1, Castleberry with a block. Whoa, Castleberry! What a drive into the corner. I didn't think he was going to make a move on Harvick that time. Oh, hang on, a little contact. Harvick's still out of shape after that contact. And he's still out of shape into turn 1. Castleberry goes wide. So did Harvick. Kenseth to the inside. They both check each other up. 3 wide for the lead as Harvick tries an amazing crossover to the bottom. They're going to make it into turn 3. Very flat corner to go 3 wide. It didn't work earlier. And this time, Harvick takes it away. Kenseth to 2nd as they merge. Castleberry back in 3rd. 4th place car is starting to close into the battle now. Harvick brushes the wall up forward, allowing Kenseth back to the inside. Harvick about accidentally turned Kenseth, trying to hop in line behind him. And Matt Kenseth leads. And Harvick swings right back around Kenseth, so a couple of the Cup Series regulars, Harvick and Kenseth, are now battling for the lead. Harvick almost got the wall again off turn 4. That would have been the 2nd time already. And we have a caution at lap 44 as Harvick gets to the line. Caution will wait for the 2nd time today. Hermie Sadler goes around hard into the outside wall. Paul Menard collected as well. Wow, Greg Biffle in the 66 car piled in as well. So Sadler got loose. Slid into Sadler got loose, slid into Paul Menard. Biffle, the 66, and a couple others piled in. And Harvick is going to be the only one of the leaders coming to pit row. Looks like there's a couple other drivers coming down. No, never mind. No, they're not. So 4 fresh tires going on the car for Harvick. Full tank of fuel, no adjustments. The road dog, Jesse James. Jesse James, the road dog. Wait, no, what was his name? Was it just Road Dog? What was his actual name? Was it? I don't know. Road Dog.
Looks like we were the only car on pit road during that entire caution.
Was it Jesse James? Now I'm having a little bit of a brain fart here, but we see that a lot, I guess. Badass Billy Gunn. JR used to call him on commentary Mr. Ass all the time. I always found that hilarious. Yeah, it was Jesse James. Okay. It sounded like a movie character at first. That's why I was like, wait a minute, it might not be Jesse James. So after that caution, green flag's back in the air. Matt Kenseth will take over the race lead with Harvick pitting at lap 45. But now Harvick's got fresh tires by about 30 to 35 laps, so he's looking to rip through this field. Boy, Harvick's getting crowded into turn 1. Not a lot of room. Hard hit into the outside wall for the lap. Well, not the lap car, but one of the cars at the back of the pack at least. Harvick was racing around. He actually had the name Mr. Ass? Oh, okay. I thought JR just called him that. Just because, like, that was his last name. I don't remember. I didn't actually, like, grow up in the Attitude Era, but I've watched a lot of the stuff from back then. Boy. I just didn't see it live as it happened. I grew up during the Ruthless Aggression era. That was, like, my childhood. I remember we used to have, like, some of the old CDs of the pay-per-views, too. A couple of the WrestleManias. Kid I grew up with, his parents, like, got him a lot of those, too. So, like, whatever ones I didn't have, he had. But now with the network, I mean, every now and then... Well, granted, they're going away with that, I guess. Now it's going to be on Peacock soon, but... So I don't know if I'm going to transfer over to that. If I'm put behind a higher paywall, I'm not going to do it, but... It was kind of cool just going back, watching like an old pay-per-view or something I haven't seen in a while, or like watch a random match from the pay-per-view I forgot about or never really watched but heard it was good, so that's kind of cool. Oh, a little contact. 20. We're just starting to send it through these guys. Again, he's got the fresher tires and you can tell he's not wanting to waste any time at all. The 3 wide pass. I don't know if this is going to work. 4 wide into turns 3 and 4. What a pass by Harvick. It's a good thing he had fresh tires because I don't think he would have pulled that off otherwise. A 4 wide move by Kevin Harvick to make a couple passes on the racetrack. Forgot can't really go down to the apron. It's force of habit, especially at this racetrack in the Tri-Oval. Harvick still gets a run on Ashton Lewis and passes him now. Greg Biffle in the 60. Gives up just enough of the bottom. Not a lot there, but enough for Harvick to get around him for 16th. Biffle's actually fastest in practice. He's caught up in that last accident, along with about 5 or 6 other cars. Oh, okay. Well, if it's the same price, I might consider it. I just hope everything stays the same with like the way it was on the network versus where it is on Peacock. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the stuff has changed. Like, I mean, I don't really watch like any of the shows on there. Most of the podcasts that are on there are on YouTube anyway. That's where I kind of tend to watch clips of it instead of the whole thing. Ooh, a little tag on the back of Mark Martin. Actually kind of helped Martin get by Bobby Hamilton Jr. Terry Cook in the 10. And Martin's about to get crossed over now by Hamilton. Matt Kenseth has led every lap since the restart, but he's not pulling away from the field, really. We've not seen a lot of that today. Harvick slide the tires, but again, Harvick still has fresher tires than everybody else, and in 11 laps, he has gone from the back of the field, 41st, all the way up to 11th. Our Daytona winner, Kenny Wallace, right in front of Kevin Harvick. There's Hermie Sadler, who started that last accident. He's still got heavy damage to the right front of his car. Sure, he's got damage to the rear as well. Sauter's fading back as this race carries forward. Harvick loose underneath of Paul Menard, and Menard went down and tried to tag Harvick, and that just put Harvick in the wall. They stack up off turn 4 behind as well. What was Paul Menard thinking there, crowning his teammate of all people, Kevin Harvick, for whatever reason? Menard just kept running lower and lower and lower, and Harvick had nowhere else to go. He was already locked on that white line with the left side tires. Yeah, I'm just a really big wrestling fan. Like, some of the behind-the-scenes, like, stories and stuff that the wrestlers tell, I think is kind of interesting. So, I don't really, like, listen to, like, yeah, a lot of, like, the podcasts or shows they have on there. Chris Van Vliet, if you've ever heard of him on YouTube, he does very, very good interviews with pretty much any wrestler that's current, past. I mean, he's interviewed a lot of people. He's got a couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube now. And he's like one of the only guys I really watch, like, interview these people. And he gets, like, everything out of them. And he basically just, you know, asks a question, sits back, and it'll take, like, a wrestler, like, 10 minutes to answer. I think he just interviewed, the last one I just watched a couple days ago when I was off of work, or yesterday, actually, when I was off of work, was he interviewed one of the longtime referees, Mike Chioda. So it's kind of like interesting to hear like a referee's perspective to wrestling, because you don't really hear that a lot. So that's a really good interview to go and take a listen to. He's done a lot of iconic matches. He was in the WWE for 31 years, so I mean he's basically seen like everybody. OSW review. I don't think I've heard of him. Simon Miller's pretty good too. He doesn't really do like interviews or stuff like that, but his perspective on wrestling, he's just a nice guy. But he's kind of he's funny too. I don't watch Walk Culture Wrestling a lot, but Simon Miller's a cool guy. Slasher God, welcome to the stream. Kenseth holding on to the lead. Harvick's got to run to the inside of the second place car in the number 32. And Harvick is clear for second. Kenseth left the bottom open. He tried to block Harvick, and Harvick was already there. And Kenseth basically moved himself out of the way. It allows Harvick to get right back to the lead with those fresher tires, charging through the field in about 18 laps. Oh, that's another guy, Brian Zane with Wrestling with Regret. He does a lot of like classic pay-per-view reviews and stuff. That I watched that. Oh boy, that was close to being major contact. It was minimal. They're still not clear as Kenseth and Harvick go at it again like they did earlier. These guys are gonna end up wrecking each other hard one of these times with how hard they've been battling today. And the 32 just bowls up. Harvick got out of the gas and let the 32 car go because he was about to get pinched into the wall if he didn't. And now the 32 is going for the lead. That's David Stremme going for the lead. Harvick to the apron off turn 4. He actually got it to stick. 3-wide move. Now down to the apron through the tri-oval. Is it going to stick there as he tries to take the lead away from Stremme? Loose, and David Stremme holds on to the lead. Oh, Harvick overdrove 1 and 2. He's sliding all over the place. My goodness. Yeah, I watch a lot of NASCAR and wrestling stuff on YouTube. That's like where I get that's where most of my YouTube watch time goes to. Especially in the wintertime when I'm not golfing, I don't really have, much else to do. On my days off, at least. There's some golf channels I guess I watch too. I've gone away from watching golf stuff because it makes me miss it in the wintertime. So it's like, man, I wish I could go out there. But it gets me pumped to golf when I watch, anything, whether it's instructional. Boy, Harvick tried to make a move to the inside of Stremme. He had to get out of the gas, even in the tri-oval, how out of shape he got. What a run David Stremme's got. I don't know where he started, but he's kind of came out of nowhere in this race. Harvick going to get to his inside, but look at Stremme just kind of pulling down the racetrack, pinching Harvick off. And that causes for contact. And Stremme actually got in the wall getting into turn 3 with the contact, and Kenseth gets a run to the inside. Oh, never mind. Kenseth went to pit road, it looked like. So a lot of the leaders are coming into the pits. I've never been one for using like those yellow balls. I feel like I lose them in the sun a lot easier. They're supposed to help so you don't do that, but I'm partially colorblind, so like I'll lose it in the grass even. I need a white wall. Remember, Harvick pitted under that last caution at lap 45. Nobody else pitted, so that's why they're pitting now. And this is going to trap the entire field a lap down as well. If we get a caution in the middle of this, this is going to help Harvick immensely. I just made up a word there. I meant immensely, not immensely. But Harvick will be giving up a lot of time if we don't get a caution before he has to pit. He's got about half a run yet. Are there any golf courses in Alaska? Like, I get some of the years nice, but that's why I don't feel like there's a lot of golf courses in, like, the upper Midwest, like in Minnesota and Wisconsin and stuff, because I feel like you can only play golf, like, 6 months out of the year. I've not been to either one of those two states, so I wouldn't know. I know there is some courses up there. I just don't feel like there's as much as what there is even in Ohio, where I can golf like 8 or 9 months out of the year. But that's like pushing it. That's just golfing when it's in the 40s and 50s still and not really caring. That's what it's like. You see the diehards out there golfing for like 8 to 9 months out of the year, and then like everybody else that plays golf only when it's like 65 or above and temperature wise, and they're only out there for like 5 or 6 months. But as long as it's not super windy, I think the coldest I've ever played golf in was like in the upper 30s, but my hands were getting too cold, so, and it was kind of damp that morning I went out too, so I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing that again. It's kind of my breaking point. It's like 40 degrees. Harvick still got about a 2.5 second lead. Be interesting to see how all these guys cycle off of pit road. This is their second pit stops of the day. Harvick's got 3 sets of tires left the rest of this race as well. More than 10? Yeah, it's not a very big population in Alaska either, so that's another thing, I guess, that kind of counteracts that. It is a pretty big state as far as like land, though. So, I mean, if you think about it, 10 really isn't a lot. I mean, you can go, there's like, at least in Northwest Ohio here, I mean, there's probably a golf course like every 20 to 30 miles. At least. Sometimes 2, depending on what city you're in. Like, if you're in Toledo, there's, I think, like 2 or 3. Like, whether it's in the suburbs or, you know, somewhere around the city. And then, yeah, like out in the country, in these smaller towns, you'll have these local golf courses, which some of them are all right. Some of them are, like, how's this place even running? The only way it's running is because all the locals are going, all the old local people that don't want to drive more than 10 minutes to go to a golf course keep going there. That's why they're still in business. Boy, Harvick really loose. So Harvick's got a 1-lap lead on the field because he pitted under the caution. Everybody else stayed out. That was at lap 45, so Harvick could probably go a little less than 30 more laps on fuel before he has to pit. Since he has the most golf courses in the nation. I did not know that. I've never played golf down there. I need to. Like, when I travel to these different NASCAR tracks, I try to make sure I hit a golf course, like an area golf course from where I'm staying. That's why I usually take an extra day. Is I take 1 day for the race and 1 day to make sure I get a round of golf. And sometimes with the late start times now, I can get a round in the morning. If I set a tee, I think when I went to Watkins Glen in 2019, I went to a golf. I set a tee time for like 7 a.m. that morning. I actually played around. Well, I only played 9 holes that night, because we got there early enough, and that time of the year it didn't get dark till like 7:30 anyway, so I was able to get 9 holes in, and then the next morning I had a tee time for like 7 a.m., so I went back and got a full round in. We went straight to the track from there, and we got to the track probably 2 hours before the race, so that worked out pretty well. Usually I get 1 round in at least. Although when I was in Talladega last year, I didn't actually play in Talladega. I played in like northern Tennessee on my way back. I should have played when I was down there, but I knew I was going to be back there again this year anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it if I couldn't golf in Alabama. So I'll definitely make sure in a couple months when I go there again that I hit a golf course in Alabama. Maybe hit like a Robert Trent Jones course. That'd be pretty cool. A lot of them down in that area. It says old of tires as Harvick has had so far today. Just about, at least. as far as the amount of green flag laps on him. We saw earlier before he pitted under that last caution at lap 45 how loose he was getting. He's not even battling anybody right now, and he's got perfectly clean air. That's, like, I don't really have many pet peeves and stuff that gets under my skin, but when I'm on a golf course, especially if you're, like, close, not so much on the highway because there's a lot of traffic, but if you get to, like, these back country roads with some of these courses, like on the backside of a course, there's those people that honk their horns when they go by. That drives me nuts. And the only people that do that are people that don't play golf, because, like, if you would play golf, you would know that would irritate you if you were out there, so you wouldn't do it. It happens a lot, but usually like mid-swing it barely happens. But every now and then it does. That's why if like I ever see a car coming, I just wait. Just in case. Yelling's not that bad, but I guess like repeatedly pounding on the horn is a lot more obstructive. You can tell on that track map that those drivers behind Harvick right now are closing that gap by quite a big margin. Harvick can get to halfway, even if we do get a lot of cautions in the later going of this race. He should be pretty alright as far as making sure he's got enough tires that could last him. It should still be a 2-pit stop race for Harvick. So then he's got that oddball caution if we get one late that he can take tires if he so chooses. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Oh, I highly recommend it, yeah. Do custom schedules. I think it's a lot of fun just trying to map out where I want the schedule. I've got my custom schedule set to go for when the next NASCAR game comes out. We'll be starting off with the custom schedules for the season modes. I want to run a lot. I think it'll help with the viewership too, because I noticed when NASCAR Heat 5 last year came out initially, those first 2 months were the boom periods. That's where I grew the most in subscribers in the first year of the channel. So I'm expecting that again. So I need to capitalize on that by, one, having good races, kind of like we did, last year. That definitely helped. But two, putting some of the newer tracks at the beginning of the schedule, like Circuit of the Americas, Dirt Bristol, putting those newer tracks, newer configurations up there that people are going to want to see how it is in the game, and putting them towards the beginning of the schedule. Obviously, you're going to start off with the Cup Series at Daytona, but then after that, jump straight to Circuit of the Americas or the Daytona Road Course, and then, start running those newer tracks at the Cup Series, Nashville. Kyle Button, welcome to the stream. One of these times I'm going to be on the apron, that car's just going to turn straight right, and I'm not going to be able to save it. It's definitely sliding around a lot when I go down there. I never learned my lesson. Sometimes I have to go down there, though. I got such a big run, they block the inside, they're not going to block to the all the way below the apron. It's open. Especially at this track with this configuration. The apron's so wide here at Las Vegas with this flat racetrack. It's not as wide as what it is now, but Still fairly wide. On top of the custom schedules as well, when we do Season 2 for NASCAR 05, we'll be doing the custom schedules, have some fantasy tracks in there as well. So here come the leaders, closing in on Harvick to try and get their laps back. They have about 30 lap fresher tires, so they will get there. As they have ran him down. Harvick's been getting really out of shape here these last couple laps as well. Ooh, boy. A lot of zigzagging motion down the backstretch. Harvick's still got about a quarter of a tank of fuel. We're at lap 94 currently. David Stremme in the 32 is still in second place with a great run so far today. Can he pull off maybe an upset win? Not in the Cup Series at this point in time, so he is one of the Busch Series regulars. Harvick blocking him to the inside. He's got to do it. They have fresher tires. Harvick doesn't want to give up a ton of time. If they get on by, Harvick might not be able to get back by him again. So he's getting pretty desperate right now. Stremme looking high. That's not going to work. That's going to actually open up the bottom lane. And Stremme's in the wall off turn 2. They already lost the bottom to Matt Kenseth as it was. Actually, that might be Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Actually, looks more like the low sponsor. It is. So Kyle Busch is now up to second. Kenseth's actually that blue car behind Stremme still in 4th. Saw Kyle Busch have a good day early at Rockingham, but he spun while leading just after he took the lead in the first 50 or so laps of that race, and he recovered to come back to finish 11th, but took his chances of winning straight out the window at that point, so he's wanting redemption today. Stremme gets right back around him off turn 4. They keep battling back and forth. It's going to make Harvick's life a little bit easier, trying to hold these guys off. We're only 2 laps away from the halfway mark on our first mile and a half of the season. The only time we go to Las Vegas this year as well. For all 3 series. Actually, we don't even go here for the Truck Series till late in the season. And our Cup Series race at Las Vegas will be tomorrow night on NASCAR Thunder 2000 on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. That's what I meant to say. Stremme to the inside of Harvick. Harvick almost got the wall off turn 2. And down the back straightaway. Harvick barely keeps it off the wall. Stremme will get around him. Kyle Busch is on the inside. He'll slide up the track and clear Harvick as well. Down to the apron. He's going to try to cross over Kyle Busch. Lap 100. See, like that time he held the apron pretty well, even on older tires. Sometimes it works for whatever reason. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, he tagged the 5 just a little bit. Not much. It doesn't take much either. Mark Martin's closed into the top 5 now. Stremme slowly getting away from these guys as Harvick still holding up Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin now. Love Mark Martin's Pennzoil paint scheme for the Busch Series in this season as well, at number 9 car. Saw another number 9 being driven by Jeff Burton in the last race. Again, these Cup regulars aren't running the full season. Some of them might, and some of them might not. We've seen Kenseth in the first 3 races. We haven't seen Junior yet today, so I'm not entirely sure if he's running. Junior is leading the points right now as well. Harvick again gives up the bottom slightly. Kyle Busch underneath. Harvick in the wall off turn 2. Boy, Harvick sliding up the racetrack. Martin, Kenseth both get on by. So Harvick will be pitting very, very soon. Back to the inside of the 9. Side by side, Kyle Busch to the inside of David Stremme for second. Could be the eventual lead, and likely will be the eventual lead when Harvick decides to pit soon. He didn't get the caution with this strategy this time around. We'll see if we'll stay green long enough for everything to cycle through for the rest of the field again here pretty soon. Harvick's still taking it as long as he can now. That just means if we do stay green, again, not only it's going to trap a lot of guys a lap down, but less laps he'll have to run in a run later in the race, whether it's the next run or the final run. Again, he'll have to pit 2 more times yet. Martin to the inside of Kenseth for 4th. Clears him off turn 4. Now the right rear's starting to wear out a little bit more on Harvick's car. The apron pretty well that time, too. Sounded like Harvick's car bottomed out the way it slid going into 1 and 2. I'm not sure what it was exactly. Kenny Wallace has had a good early going to the season. In 6th early on, a little contact. Harvick got loose into turn 3, crowded Wallace accidentally a little bit. So Kenny running 6th. We mentioned he won the season opener at Daytona. Harvick will be pitting soon. He'll stay out 1 more lap, and then he'll pit the following time by. So 93 laps to go in the race. That is the time for Harvick to pit here at lap 108. Again, we'll likely see Harvick, I'd have to assume, drop out of the top 5 for sure. These guys ahead of him are likely going to be fine. Harvick did not take the access road there, so this might be an awkward angle on a tough pit road entrance for the 1.5 miles. It's one of the tougher 1.5 miles to get onto pit road with this configuration, but Harvick does a great job. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments for Kevin Harvick as he has led a lot of laps today now, especially with that strategy call. Pitting under the caution. Harvick will use the access road, though, trying to get back onto the racetrack. David Stremme leads this race. Kevin Harvick sliding up off of pit road And he'll cycle in 13th. He's got about 30 lap pressure tires now himself. So I'll try to run back down on these leaders again. Casey Atwood in the number 14 Navy car. Another nice paint scheme in the field for this season. Harvick to the inside of Atwood. Going to pass him pretty cleanly. 6.5 seconds off the lead is Harvick, by the way, but again, on pressure tires now. With this strategy call. Trying to charge back to the front. But David Stremme, again, has very, very well surprised. I did not expect him to really run well this season. Kenny Wallace won a race, but it was at Daytona, so obviously anything could happen on the super speedways. We know that. But to be on 1.5 miles and David Stremme running as well as he has today, that's very good. Yeah, I typically race on manual transmission, but since I started going back to these older game playthroughs, I've been doing the automatic. I feel like my PS2 controller, like, it doesn't exactly shift when I want it to, like when I'm pressing it, so the feel's not as great as what it would be with the PS4. But usually I do run manual. Paul Menard tried to take a swing at Harvick earlier when Harvick was coming through the field on fresh tires on the last restart. And he pretty much wiped himself out because Menard was running better than what he is right now. And remember, he was involved in an accident earlier today as well. Not sure why he's mad at his teammate Harvick, but he's mad at him one way or another. As they battle for 9th. Well, Harvick had a run off turn 2. Look at Paul Menard blocking all over the racetrack. A run to the inside, though, in turns 3 and 4. Menard tries to run Harvick down the track again. That was a lot lighter of a hit, and Menard basically put himself in the wall after making contact intentionally with Harvick on the inside. Big checkup into turns 3 and 4. Oh, Blue Castleberry is very slow. Something has happened to Castleberry. Tough break. He was running in the top 5 earlier. Biffle Hornaday got checked up behind him, allowing Harvick to jump to 7th. Now the run to the inside of the 60 of Biffle off turn 4 for 6th. Harvick was in 11th just about a lap and a half ago, and he's up to 6th place at the line. And only about just less than 3 seconds off the lead. He is cruising on these fresh tires. And Kenny Wallace is the new leader. I think the lap car of Castleberry was very slow, kind of held these guys up. I don't know if Castleberry blew an engine earlier in the race and went to the garage and came back out, and that's why he's really slow. He might have been involved in that crash earlier in the race at lap 45 as well that involved about 3 or 4 cars. That's possible, even though he was up towards the front. I don't think that was the case. .33 is owned by Andy Petrie. It's got the RCR font on it. I could be wrong. Need to Google that. Oh, looked away for a little bit too long there in the middle of the corner. Oh, contact up ahead. Some of the leaders might have gotten together. Stremme trying to battle to get the lead back again, perhaps. Harvick is absolutely closing that gap. Is he the crew chief too, or was he just the owner? I know he was a crew chief there for a little bit. More so in the 90s. Kenny Wallace, after having the lead a couple laps ago, is back to 6th. How quickly that fell away. Mark Martin about to get passed by Harvick as well. Stremme is back out in front for now. Kenseth looks to the inside into turns 3 and 4. Stremme blocks him. Bunch of cars under a blanket battling for the lead. Harvick on the fresh tires is ripping through this front portion of the pack. Now he's underneath Kenseth in a lap car, 3 wide for second place into turn 1. Harvick gets a little loose. Barely clears Kenseth. Now going to try to get around Stremme. 80 laps to go in the race this time by. As David Stremme leads. Just the owner for the 04 season. Ooh, a little crowding. Harvick beat Stremme to the line. Hasn't cleared him yet, now he does. And now Harvick is clear, back in the lead. Harvick's got a little bit fresher tires, but we'll see if he can pull away this time. Haven't really seen him do it so far today, but he got through the field pretty quickly. And there are 4 lap cars right in front of Harvick, and I think Blue Castleberry is one of them, and we know he is very slow. Harvick escapes to the inside pretty easily. Kyle Busch jumps up to second place. It looked like Stremme got caught for a second behind Castleberry on the outside. I wonder if the rest of the field can make it on one stop as well. We know Harvick is one stop to the end. The lap car, Cody Holt right in front of Kevin Harvick. Harvick hoping to get around him quick. Turns 3 and 4. Just gets underneath him in the center of the corner. Going to clear Holt off the exit of turn 4. As far as the cautions go, again, we've had 2 today. We had 5 in each of the last 2 races. Daytona we had 5, Rockingham we had 5. So that trend stays up. Will we get another one? Or another few, I should say, here today. Can alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in this race today. Bright sun going off into turn 1. Going to be affecting the drivers with the glare. I don't know if Harvick owned the 30. I don't know if Harvick owned the 33 at this time. Because again, with this being the 04 season, Harvick has only been in the Cup Series for 4 seasons. So he's still relatively young. Look at this battle for the lead going on. Kyle Busch got to the inside of Harvick, and Harvick's not giving up on the outside. These two are digging right now. Harvick gets out of shape, kept it off the wall in 3 and 4. He's trying to hold on to the outside like he was earlier in the race, but he wasn't able to there. He's got a big run off turn 4, though. Kyle Busch back out in front at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, his home track. A rookie, 18 years old in the Busch Series at this time. Harvick back to the inside. He had that big run down the front stretch. Got the run off the high side, but obviously with how flat this track is, he definitely lost the lead because of it. And he takes the lead right back in turns 3 and 4 the next lap. Another lead change at the line. And now we'll see if Busch can get a run into turn 1. Harvick trying to block. Busch to the apron. What a move if Kyle could pull this off. He went to the apron in turns 1 and 2 to get underneath Harvick. And they're side by side for the lead again. Harvick again slides on the outside into 3 and 4. Is Busch going to clear him? Lap car might get in the way. Busch got a little loose on the bottom of the track. Lap car is in the way slightly. And he's on the outside in front of Harvick right now. Nowhere to go for Harvick. Up the middle, 3 wide. Busch had an opportunity to pull clear. Harvick in the wall off turn 2 and into Busch a little bit. Harvick sideways. And we've got pit stops going on once again. So right as Kyle Busch is able to battle hard to get back to the lead using the lap car as a pick, he comes to pit road. Yeah, these guys are pitting with quite a ways to go. I don't see them going 71 laps on fuel. We'll go back to the far chase cam for now. So 70 laps to go at the line for Harvick. I don't see these guys going that far, especially in the Busch Series. A little bit shorter fuel window than what it is in the Cup side. Tim Urban, welcome to the stream. Slow car, Blue Castleberry. Down on horsepower, down on cylinders. Harvick races around him to the outside. Tough break. Led laps early on. Looked like he was going to be a contender. Fell out of it. So these guys seem to be pitting a lot earlier than what they did last time as well. At least it seems like it. Might have been able to save fuel during that caution as well. But they did not have a caution in between the runs now. These guys that are staying out even a couple laps later are going to be a lot closer to the end on fuel than, say, guys like Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth, who came down immediately. We saw as a fuel mileage race in the Cup Series at Rockingham last Sunday. Guys running out of fuel in the closing laps. Harvick, who was battling for the win on the last lap, ran out of fuel off turn 2 on the final lap, trying to get around eventual race winner Jimmy Johnson. Or the leader still coming into the pits. 3-second lead for Harvick. It's weird that they don't take the access road coming off of pit road. And they don't take it on entry onto pit road either. Now I know we didn't take it going on to pit road. It looks a lot too narrow on the entrance to pit road versus the exit. But the exit, it kind of works almost like a shortcut. I'm surprised the AI doesn't take it. 65 laps to go at the line that time. By the way, Tim, if you're still in the chat, are you sure you don't want the interview for the predictions video this week? Because I got to start filming that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night into Sunday morning to get that uploaded. So I know you mentioned earlier in the week on one of the streams that you didn't seem like you were interested in it. But you did win last week. So, I mean, it's your call at the end of the day. But there might be more opportunities later this year, but you never know. Looks like we should be able to max out on our skill points today, so that's good for trying to unlock some other stuff before we get into the custom schedule seasons, hopefully. Alright, well, hey, if you don't... Or I should say, if you do end up winning again later this year, I'll keep knocking on your door, keep asking you. Oh, boy! The 117 is coming to pit road. He checked up a little earlier than Harvick expected, and Harvick just missed him to the outside. There were a couple of other cars that were battling for position before coming to pit road in front of him as well. That was a very narrow escape. Harvick's about halfway on fuel right now, so you can probably go another 30 laps roughly. It'll be interesting to see if he's going to take this to the end of the run. It's a pit window to make it to the end. If he wants to be safe, he's going to go to about lap 150, but it's definitely a one-stop race for Harvick. Everybody else, it's going to be close on if it's one or two. Castleberry slow on the track, going another lap down. Yeah, just a tough break for Castleberry, losing power. So we'll see if we get a caution during this run now. Still 2 sets of tires left the rest of this race for Harvick. He has only pit twice today. To this point, we've only had 2 cautions, so he did not pit under the first caution when the rest of the field did, and now we have another caution. Trouble on the racetrack, our third of the day, and this is going to trap the field a lap down. That is exactly what Harvick needed with this strategy. A hard hit into the outside wall for the 18 of J.J. Yaley. As Yaley gets loose off turn 2, same spot we saw Hermie Sadler get loose earlier. A single car spin this time, though. And Yaley hit the wall pretty hard. Everybody else misses him to the outside. And Harvick's going to come to pit road now. And the rest of the field is going to follow in line behind him. This could be the last pit stop of the race today, but these guys are going to be really close on fuel. Half a round of wedge being put into the race car for Harvick to tighten it up just a little bit to help on the longer runs. So this is going to be very interesting, to say the least, as far as the fuel mileage from where this caution took place. Everybody else is going to come back onto pit road and top off, but this should have Harvick 1 lap ahead of the field. But a couple guys did beat him off of pit road. Kyle Busch, David Stremme being one of those guys. Matt Kenseth as well. Green flag about to be back in the air. And here we go. Lap cars to the inside. Lead lap to the outside. But Harvick, I believe, is the only driver on the lead lap for the restart at the time of the caution. But he's back in traffic already. Not taking off on the restart, kind of like last time. He needs to get back in front of these guys before we might get another quick caution. So this strategy played perfectly. Oh, Stremme into the back of the 21 of Harvick. Stremme's in the wall. Ashton Lewis is in the wall. Stremme drove it in way too deep underneath Harvick. And we got another caution, and this is going to give some of these guys their laps back as they stack up off turn 4. Ashton Lewis was slow after hitting the wall, and Casey Atwood goes around on the front stretch after contact with another car in front of him. Looks like he might have gotten into the 20. The 131 got into the side of him as well, and Harvick's going to hit pit road again, trying to make sure he's still going to be topped off. And it'll be another 4-tire stop for Harvick. This will be his final set of tires today. So So this caution's going to at least help these guys a little bit on making it to the end on fuel, and Harvick will have a couple laps more of fuel in the tank with pitting here under this caution as well. And that is our 4th caution of the race. So a couple back-to-back now. How would the interview be done? Oh, it'd be on Zoom. I'd have to send you that's why I was asking for a Discord earlier so I can get your email without everybody else finding out what the email is.
We're starting in the back, so be careful and stay out of trouble.
So much for the field being trapped a lap down. Green flag back in the air. Ron Hornaday going to restart from the lead. Looks like David Green rather, is on the lead lap as well. Three wide to the inside. Only a couple lap fresher tires isn't going to do much here for Harvick. Yaley, who brought that initial caution out. Look at this, 3 wide for the lead now. Almost contact. Hornaday about got sandwiched in the middle between the 33 and the 21. And Harvick to the lead into turn 1. And he's going to pull up and clear Yaley off turn 2 as well. Clean air for Kevin Harvick. Heck of a restart. A lot better than the one prior. And they're still going 2 and 3 wide back through the center of the pack despite a mainly single file restart. Very minimal lap cars to the, or I should say lead lap cars to the outside. Only 3 cars are on the lead lap today now. With that caution coming out before Harvick hit pit road. And that is why staying out as long as he did paid huge dividends, because as things stand right now, it doesn't look like he's going to finish worse than 3rd as long as he doesn't get in an accident. Now they're 3 wide for 2nd place. David Green sandwiched in the middle. They're going to make it off turn 4. They were nearly 4 wide. There was another car all the way up on the outside. Now some of these guys are going to try to get around Harvick and get back on the lead lap as well. They are battling so hard right now. Look at this. Nearly 4 wide in turns 1 and 2. They're going to end up wrecking again. There's a stack up at the back of the pack on the last restart on the first lap. We're a couple laps into this one already, but they are fanning out big time here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I think it's a good time to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race. On this Reese Chevrolet of Kevin Harvick. On a 0.6 of a second lead. See on the track map how far off the pace Blue Castleberry still is. These guys are going to rush around him about every 10 laps or less even to the end of this race during our green flag runs. Well, we had 5 cautions in the first 2 races. We've had 4 tonight. Does that mean we're going to get 1 more before the end of it? Is that the trend of the Busch series this season? 5 cautions per race? Harvick overdrove turn 1 a little bit. Ron Hornaday in the 2, his teammate right behind him. Remember, these two were battling towards the end of that Rockingham race as well. Hornaday hasn't really battled for the lead at all yet today. But that caution, the first one, lined him up right with Kevin Harvick. And then the second caution gave him the lead lap because he got around Harvick on the restart when Harvick got stacked up into turn 1. And now the 2 and the 21 are battling for the lead. Harvick got the last lap with the win at Rockingham. Can Hornaday maybe get the win today at Vegas? Despite the fact Harvick has led the most laps, and if he hasn't clinched the most laps led yet, I'd assume he probably will before the end of this race, knowing that everybody that has led a decent amount of laps today outside of Harvick himself are now a lap down, only making Harvick's job a little bit easier. These guys are going to be coming up on Castleberry this lap. Maybe right around the start-finish line if they don't get to him in 3 and 4. Hornaday almost got the wall off turn 2 that time. Yep, off turn 4. Looks like they're going to catch Castleberry. Oh, Harvick got loose. Wasn't really even on the apron that time. Castleberry held up Hornaday a little bit into turn 1. Half a second lead now for Harvick, despite being loose on the front stretch off turn 4. So again, Harvick a couple laps better on fuel than everybody else. I believe they're good to go to the end, especially with that caution anyway. But it still might be close. Hornaday trying to chip back into that deficit on Harvick. Loose getting into turn 3, and Hornaday right there. Harvick made a little too big of a mistake. Hornaday is there. Harvick also got a little tight into 3 and 4, almost came down into him. Go back to the far chase cam for now, and Hornaday to the lead. Crossover into turn 1 by Harvick to the inside. Good battle for the lead going on. Harvick slides the tires down to the apron. Much like Rockingham, these two are going to try to race clean and hard. For the win, Hornaday came up so close in the late going at Rockingham. He does not want that same thing to happen here. This could be a heck of a battle for these final 40 laps. Harvick's car's out of shape. It's really weird how it's gotten loose because he actually tightened it up under that last pit stop. It's the final set of tires for Harvick today. This is 4th and final set. And Harvick clear. In turns 3 and 4. Hornaday in the wall off turn 4. Despite Hornaday getting into the wall, Harvick ran way too high. Side by side down the back, big side draft off that right rear for Harvick. And Hornaday, can he clear off turn 4? No. Harvick's still there. It's like Greg Biffle's getting close to try and get back on the lead lap. What a battle for the lead. Bobby Hamilton Jr. as well trying to get back on the lead lap perhaps, and Hamilton gets into Harvick. He puts him in the wall. Hamilton got tight in line behind Hornaday. Into the wall goes Harvick. Harvick to the inside. Look at Hornaday trying to pinch him down the back stretch. Trying to get a run. Up high. Harvick gets a little loose. Still clears Hornaday with another clean pass. We like to see good, hard, fast, clean racing. Hornaday going high. Harvick trying to block up there, and Hornaday crosses over back to the bottom again. And clear. there's a little bit of contact. Harvick back out in front. Hornaday didn't lose much ground, though. He just lost the lead pretty much, was hit. Biffle and Bobby Hamilton Jr. both so close to getting back on the lead lap. These two make a mistake, and then we get a caution. If they can get back on the lead lap, they'll have a shot to win it. I've seen Biffle a couple times today, but he hasn't really been in the top 10 himself. He is now. One way or another has driven himself up to, I believe he'd be 4th technically. David Green is also still in the lead lap. Oh, look at Blue Castleberry. Not really holding the inside very well. Harvick had to go to the high side to get around him, and now Castleberry pulls up in front of Hornaday and the rest of the field. That's going to give Harvick about a 7 or 8 car length lead now into turns 3 and 4 as Castleberry holds up Hornaday. I don't think Ron's done yet, though. He'll get back at Harvick. Harvick's only really got about 2 lap fresher tires, so that's not really going to do much. He's 2 drivers for the same team, so you have to imagine their cars as well pretty equal. The 21 has definitely led a lot more laps and has been towards the front a lot more. Qualified a lot better than Hornaday as well, but Hornaday, one way or another, pit strategy or not, luck of the cautions or not, he's in 2nd. Looking for a good day here right at the end. .30 laps to go this time by for Harvick. Hornaday has closed in about 0.2 of a second in the last 4 laps, so very minimal, about 0.05 of a second a lap he's closing in, so very, very small gains for Hornaday, but he's gaining nonetheless. What a bummer it'd be for Harvick if he doesn't win this race, just because of how many laps he's led, the strategy playing to perfection with that caution trapping most of the field a lap down. Not all of them. Again, there are 3 cars on the lead lap still. Don't count David Green out of this if the 2 and the 21 get together battling hard for the win. Kind of like we saw in the Truck Series race at Atlanta a couple weeks ago when Bill Lester got the win after the top 2 at the time of Carl Edwards and Travis Kvapil got together, and Kvapil led over 100 laps in that race. Yeah, you mentioned something about the manual transmission earlier. And Hornaday is there. 27 laps to go this time by for Kevin Harvick. Man, these Busch Series races are just so tight. It's going to be a fun season with the Busch Series. You got the season championship. Full season championship, I should say. These races, I mean, we're 3 for 3 so far as the good races go. Kind of an anticlimactic finish to Daytona for our sake. Rockingham and Vegas have been really good so far, and Hornaday looks for the lead again, but he can't clear Harvick. Harvick actually led the lap by inches at the line. Hornaday still staying low. Harvick trying the outside. Harvick has ran decent in 1 and 2 on the outside. It's 3 and 4 that he struggles on the top. So we'll see if he can actually stick with Hornaday this time. I have not locked in my picks yet. I haven't done a lot of research yet. I'm going to make sure when I go on lunch break tomorrow at work, I'm going to do most of my research, and then maybe a little bit tomorrow night before I stream as well, so I can get the video ready to go. Oh boy. Very minimal contact into turn 1. And that contact's going to give Hornaday the lead, it looks like. Harvick's battling. That's what David Green wants to hear. Harvick with a charge to the inside. Hornaday pinches him down low. Harvick gets a little loose on the apron now. Oh, he's still loose. He's got to get out of the gas. Oh, contact with Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton Jr., that is. Senior is the Truck Series driver. Yo Mama, welcome to the stream. And Blue Castleberry now is probably going to hold up Hornaday. And Hornaday checked up right in front of Harvick as they both race around Castleberry. And Biffle gets into the back of Castleberry. They make heavy contact. Hornaday tries to block up the track into turns 3 and 4. And Hornaday barely keeps it off the wall, but Harvick is somehow going to get back to the lead. Oh, and he tried to clear Hornaday, and he puts both of them in the wall. Biffle into the back. Contact with Kenseth now. And Bobby Hamilton back on the lead lap to the inside. After the RCR cars get together battling for the lead. Pretty heavy damage to the back bumper of Harvick's car after the contact from Biffle from behind. About a 7/10 of a second lead, and how much damage is this going to affect the handling of Harvick's car? 22 to go this time by. How much damage did Hornaday get in that? He got in the wall too. And where's David Green running right now? We know he's in third and still in the lead lap, but how far up the lead is he? The problem with this game compared to NASCAR Thunder 2004 is we don't see the intervals every lap when we cross the start-finish line, so we really don't know outside of the battle between first and second, or if we're off the lead, how far behind the lead we are. Yeah, so halfway on fuel for Kevin Harvick. But there's only 20 laps to go this time, so he's definitely good to the end on fuel. Good thing he topped off under that last caution. Hornaday's battling with a couple lap cars right now. Still about 0.8 of a second off the lead because of that battle with the lap cars. Bobby Hamilton Jr., though, who is in fourth and just barely on the lead lap now, might be in the best position to win this race if we get a caution, because he's obviously got a fast car. Played Super Mario. I haven't played a Mario Kart or Mario's racing game in a long time. Hornaday's still not done yet. The problem is Biffle's mad at Harvick after running into the back of him after those two RCR cars got together. It all got crazy when Biffle and Castleberry got together after Castleberry kind of held the field up. And then that left Hornaday blocking Harvick up the track off of turn 4. Harvick with a crossover to the inside on the front stretch. Then he tried to block going into turn 1 on Hornaday, and he didn't fully clear him, put both of them in the wall, and that's why Biffle piled into the back of Harvick. But we somehow stay green. Again, you can see the damage to the back of the 21 leading this race still. Lap cars as well as, of course, our second place driver, Ron Hornaday, starting to close back in again. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Perfect timing. Very late in this race. And there's no lap car in between the top two right now. Again, Hornaday's in that number 2 car. Came so close to winning at Rockingham in a close battle to the end. He is right there, closing the gap. With just 16 to go, this damage has to be costing Harvick as he slides the tires into 1 and 2. It's going to cause him to be more loose than tight with that rear bumper damage, so he's going to have to be very careful. They're nearly 3 wide there for 5th place going into turns 3 and 4. They kind of fanned the double file, luckily, by the time they got into the corner. And Hornaday looks low. Harvick with a clean block this time. And these two have to make sure they settle in between each other like they did at Rockingham and not allow David Green or Bobby Hamilton Jr. to get a chance. Yeah, we got 2 dogs also. The one is a Victorian Bulldog. She is going to be 6 years old in May. And then we have a smaller dog that's only about a year and a half. And she's like a Beagle Bulldog mix. Or like a Beagle Pug mix, I guess. They're not related, though. Look at Harvick all the way down low into turn 3. Yeah, he got a little too loose. He definitely overdrove the corner trying to block Hornaday, and again, that damage to the rear of his car not helping him either. Hornaday pulls up, and he blocks Harvick down the front stretch. 14 laps to go. Hornaday back in the lead. These guys behind him trying to get back on the lead lap. Harvick into turn 1. A little slideways into the corner. Pulls up and clears Hornaday right back left turn 2. Kyle Busch to the inside of Hornaday down the backstretch. Blue Castleberry. On the inside line, Harvick to the apron to get around Castleberry. He gets loose. Castleberry holding up Hornaday. Kyle Busch kind of got on by him pretty quick. Oh boy. Harvick is still loose off turn 4 with the damage. Oh, Biffle just crashes the leader. And around goes Greg Biffle as he piles Kevin Harvick into the wall. Our 5th caution of the night late in this race. Damage to Harvick. Biffle gets T-boned by Castleberry. Mark Martin narrowly escapes. Biffle just took out the leader. Heavy damage to Harvick's car. He's got to come to pit road. There's only 4 cars on the lead lap. Actually 5, because I think Kyle Busch was on the lead lap. Harvick was involved in the accident, so no fuel here. He's good on fuel to the end anyway, but can't take tires because we're already on our last sets. Wow. Bought 05 and 09. Yeah, I haven't played 09. Obviously, we're having a lot of fun with 05. Yeah, I remember you saying something about it yesterday, though, buying your PS2. $80, that's a good deal, though. So, again, this should restart Harvick in 5th. I can't believe Greg Biffle cost him the lead. Now, the restart's with less than 10 laps to go. And you know what? I think Greg Biffle scored on the lead lap, too, so 6 cars are on the lead lap. Biffle wiped out the leader, and that gives Greg Biffle his lap back. And now he's got a shot for the win. What a dirty move by the Biff. And here is this late race restart. It is a 6-car battle to try and decide the win. I don't know how hard. Harvick got around him pretty quickly, though, off turn 4, as well as David Green. Green kind of held up Biffle. Hornaday leads with 8 laps to go. Kyle Busch to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Harvick all the way down low. Look at Harvick charging right back after repairing that damage on pit road. He is up to 2nd, now to the inside of Hornaday for the lead. Hamilton with a crossover on Busch for 3rd. What a charge from 6th to 1st in less than 2 laps on the restart for Kevin Harvick. Still equal tires, though, through most of the field. Harvick could not pit for tires that time. He had no more sets left. Harvick not looking for payback, just trying to win this race. Bobby Hamilton Jr., we saw how fast he was before the caution. He might get away from the field if he gets around these guys. And contact with Harvick off turn 2. And what a save by Bobby Hamilton Jr. as he about goes around. And Harvick hangs on to the lead with 6 laps to go at the line. And Greg Biffle is in 2nd place trying to close in on Harvick. He already wiped him out earlier. Harvick's got to be careful if Biffle gets up there. Oh, he's getting close. Biffle might turn Harvick for the win here. And David Green's up to 3rd. 5 laps to go at the line for Harvick. These guys might catch Castleberry one more time for the end of the race. Biffle a little too high in turns 1 and 2. Harvick hooks the bottom beautifully. Gonna gain a little bit of time. Let's see how much of a run Biffle gets off the high side. Biffle gets alongside Harvick. You know he's gonna try to dump him again. He might even get to his back bumper and dump him again. What a restart by Harvick. Get back around those guys after repairing his damage on pit road, and he's lucky there was only 6 cars on the lead lap that he was able to do that and not lose a lot of track position. Otherwise, he would have been a sitting duck on the restart. Greg Biffle all over the back bumper of Kevin Harvick off turn 2 for the lead. Harvick trying to block to the inside. Biffle now looks high into 3 and 4. Probably not going to work up there. David Green trying to fend off for 3rd. 3 laps to go at the line. Biffle's in the wall off turn 4. Biffle overdrives turns 3 and 4. Harvick now out to about a 4-car length lead into turn 1 with 3 to go. Will Biffle have a chance to get back to Harvick? Harvick got a little loose on entry into 1. They repaired some of the damage, but not all of it. So the handling's still not all the way there. Remember, no cautions on the last lap in this game. So if Biffle tries to wipe out Harvick on the white flag lap, they will race back to the checker. Biffle is right there. Harvick trying to block. Into turn 1. Biffle's got to run. All over the back bumper of Kevin Harvick. They're 3 wide for 2nd place. Biffle looks low. Harvick trying to block down the back straightaway as they're still 3 wide for 3rd into turn 3. What a charge on the bottom of the racetrack. Biffle might get underneath Harvick off turn 4. The white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Will Biffle put the bumper to Harvick? Harvick trying to stay in front, but Biffle is all over him. Now looking to the inside, and here comes Biffle, and Biffle wipes out Harvick. And Kenny Wallace jumps out in front, but Wallace is a lap down. Here comes Hamilton on the inside. Harvick just door checks Hamilton to try and hold on to the lead now. Into 3 and 4 one final time. David Green is in the driver's seat in 2nd off turn 4. Makes a move to the inside. Harvick goes wide. To the line, Harvick with the block, and Kevin Harvick wins at Vegas. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. What a last lap. Biffle tried to turn Harvick into turn 1. Luckily, Kenny Wallace was a lap down. I thought Wallace was going to win the race for a second. How far back did Biffle fall? We thought he might use the bumper. What a save by Harvick. And then Hamilton got under him, and boy, Hamilton should have won this race. Hamilton should have won this race, but Harvick door checked him down the backstretch. He was not going to lose this race because Biffle tried to take him out on the last lap. And Harvick, for the 2nd thriller of a finish in a row, is going to win his 2nd race in a row at the beginning of this season. Biffle fell back to 6th with that move. Didn't look like he saved it. Hamilton fell back to 5th. I felt bad for door checking Hamilton on the last lap there, but I was not going to lose that race after Biffle tried to wipe us out into turn 1 on the last lap. And he wiped us out while leading earlier, which brought out that last caution. This might be the race of the week. A crapshoot of a finish, but Biffle kind of started it. And we knew him lining up in 2nd there after that wild opening couple laps of the restart that if he got underneath him, he was going to make that move. And Harvick was already damaged from the caution before. Unbelievable. 146 laps led by Harvick today, and again, 5 cautions in each of the first 3 races of the year for the Busch Series. This is definitely race of the week caliber, that's for sure. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night. We got the Cup Series yet at Vegas, but what a race here tonight. Busch Series putting on a show this season. 39 lead changes, 2 hours, 10 minutes total time in today's race. Average speed 137 miles per hour, 1.45. It's margin of victory, just over a tenth of a second. Harvick with the win, David Green second, Kyle Busch ends up third, Ron Hornaday fourth, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. rounds out the top five. Greg Biffle sixth, Kenny Wallace seventh, and we had 7 drivers finish on the lead lap. J.J. Ailey 8th, Matt Kenseth 9th, and Paul Menard rounds out the top 10. Biffle was involved in a wreck earlier before taking out Harvick, or at least trying to in the last lap. So he did have a pretty solid comeback performance. So did Paul Menard. He was involved in that caution back at lap 45 as well when Hermie Sadler spun into Menard off of turn 2 earlier in the race, stacking up about 5 or 6 cars. So a good comeback for Menard to even finish 10th. David Stremme, he was having a good race, but he was one of the drivers that got trapped a lap down with that caution during the green flag pit stop, so he finishes 13th, unfortunately for him. He led laps earlier. What a race. Saw Sauter lead a couple laps at the beginning. And we'll take a look at who all DNF. Brantley, Tim Fedewa, Hart, Holmes all DNF'd, and Castleberry finished 48 laps down. Remember, he was down on horsepower there, and he led 6 laps earlier, so who knows if he could have been a contender if he didn't go down a cylinder because of a slight engine failure. What a race. Well, that's how we wrap up our Friday night of action. How could you not hit the like button or subscribe after that finish? Please do so if you haven't already. We're very close to 800 subs. Hopefully we can get there by the end of next week. And again, thanks for watching here tonight. We'll be back at it on NASCAR 05 tomorrow night at the same racetrack, but a different series. Nextel Cup Series action in our Chase for 8 season with Jimmy Johnson as we try to chase our back-to-back wins in that series as well on the same mile-and-a-half track. So I will be seeing you guys tomorrow night. That race will start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, hope to see you then. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.